Salams and welcome. Just yesterday, Alhamdulillah, I came across a wonderful article while I was just doing some research, which proves the existence of God. It proves the existence of a supreme creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, for us as Muslims, we don't need proof, Alhamdulillah. We believe in the unseen. But what made me very, very curious is because that a top American analytic professor of philosophy came across the ancient works of Al-Ghazali, our own scholar Al-Ghazali in the 11th century, and he has been promoting this work absolutely amazing. So let's look at this. It is known as the Kalam cosmological argument. So remember the word, the Kalam cosmological argument. Now I just want to get a better idea what the word Kalam means. It refers to, in Islamic theology, it refers to the discipline of using rational arguments and logic and dialectic to defend the faith. And we know that the word Kalamullah refers to the Quran. So this argument, the Kalam cosmological argument, proves the existence of God. Isn't that amazing? So the Kalam cosmological argument is a modern formulation of the cosmological argument for the existence of God. It is named the Kalam, medieval Islamic scholasticism. And recently it has been updated again by a theologian, William Lane Craig, and he's written the book recently, and he's also updated the book. Who is William Lane Craig? He is an American analytic philosopher, author, and theologian, visiting professor of philosophy at the Talbot School of Theology of Biola University. Until 2024, he was also a professor of philosophy at the Houston Christian University. Professor Craig has updated and he has defended the Kalam cosmological argument for the existence of God, which was initially formulated by Al-Ghazali. Absolutely amazing. This is Professor Craig. So the argument's central thesis is the metaphysical impossibility of a temporally past infinite universe and of actual infinities existing in the real world, traced by this professor to 11th century Persian Muslim scholastic philosopher Al-Ghazali, rahmatullahi, and we all know Al-Ghazali, alhamdulillah, right? So according to Michael Martin, this Kalam theological arguments presented by Craig are among the most sophisticated and well argued in contemporary theological philosophy, which proves the existence of God. So Al-Ghazali in the 11th century, during his debates with other people, he produced an argument that is so powerful that is even being used today, and it is regarded as the most sophisticated and well argued, alhamdulillah, because it is based on logic and reason. And let's see what it means. The initial syllogism, the Kalam cosmological argument. Now, in logic, we have deductive reasoning and inductive reasoning. So the Kalam cosmological argument is a deductive argument. Therefore, what it means, if its premises are true, the conclusion follows necessarily, right? If A is true and B is true, then A and B are true. The conclusion is then true, provided the premises, the initial parameters must be true. So here's why we say that it is the truth that a creator exists. Everything that begins to exist has a cause. Remember cause and effect. So the initial premise that we are saying is that everything that begins to exist has a cause. Something caused it to exist. We know as a guarantee, and this is science is proving it, that the universe began to exist. 50 or 100 years ago, there was a steady state understanding of the universe, which is proven to be wrong. Scientists thought that the universe was eternal, but the Big Bang has now shown that the universe had a beginning, a time called T. That before the time T, the universe never existed. So the very fact that the universe began to exist, it's got a starting point. Therefore, the universe has a cause. We're going to do that again. Everything that begins to exist has a cause. If you find a cup, let me give you an example. If you find a cup of milk, is a cup of milk, and you find the milk has been spilled, something caused that milk to spill. That's what the cause means. If you just see the spilled milk, something caused it. If you see the stars and galaxies, something caused it. That means someone is responsible. Everything that begins to exist has a cause. The universe began to exist. Therefore, the universe has a cause. Plain, simple, logical, rational. No one can dispute that. Nobody can dispute this. The universe has a cause. Who is the cause? Who caused the universe? And we get the clues in the Quran. Surah Anbiya, chapter 21, verse 30. Have those who disbelieved not considered that the heavens and the earth were a joint entity, and we separated them and made from water every living thing? The entire universe was together until it exploded. It separated into a big bang. Surah Fussilat describes the initial state of the universe as smoke, dukhan, which some commentators relate to the hot, dense, chaotic state following the initial rapid expansion of the universe. And Surah Ad-Diyat mentions, and the heavens were constructed with strength, and indeed we are its expander. And this fits in with the latest scientific suggestions that the universe is expanding continuously, and the Quran is mentioning all of this. So Craig argues, and this is from Al-Ghazali, the cause of the universe necessarily embodies specific properties. That means whoever created the universe, whoever caused the universe to come into existence, whoever caused the heavens and the earth, must have certain qualities or properties or attributes. That means this entity must be uncaused. No one must have caused it. It exists before time and space. It must be eternal, right? And this entity must be timeless, must be changeless, must be spaceless, must be immaterial, not made out of matter, must be spiritual, transcendental, ethereal, must be enormously powerful in creating space-time and its content, creatio ex nihilo, created from nothing, where there was not even an atom, and this entity created all of them. When you take all of these things together, all of this points to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah qualifies for all of these things because all of these things point to Allah. So all the above points to a supreme creator, God most merciful, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, without a shadow of a doubt. So basically science is proving that Allah exists, but sadly scientists are shy to use the word God because they think that using the word God is a sign of weakness. But we know that it is not a sign of weakness. It is actually a sign of immense strength and intelligence to be able to have faith, a strong faith, haqqal yaqeen, to believe in the unseen, to believe that Allah exists, to believe in the angels that we don't see, to believe that after death we're going to be raised to life again, to believe in the day of judgment, and to believe that mankind will be separated into two major parties, one group going to paradise, other group going to hell. And this science has now proven that God exists, because the Big Bang is evidence and proof that the universe had a beginning. Stay well, look after yourself. Alhamdulillah.